next, I want to come to the omnipresence of God. And omnipresence simply means that God is everywhere. Now, it begins simply because if you have a group of people, well, God is in between us, and He's from here to heaven, He's everywhere. But if I start breaking down and asking you, is God between molecules? You'll have to say yes, otherwise He's not omnipresent. And how about between atoms? If you're discerning, you're realizing this is running into a problem. Because we have a philosophy called pantheism. And pantheism believes that God is an impersonal force within everything. So there's a divine force in the universe that is in the computer, your computer, in the chair you might be sitting on, and the bricks in you. That is how they conceive of God. Now, I think you can understand that that doesn't quite sit well with the Christian concept of God. But there's also another variation called panentheism. And this has taken God and said, no, God is greater than the world, but He still permeates the world. Now, this allows for a personal God outside of our universe who is present through an impersonal divine energy. So how then is God omnipresent? If you go through the Bible repeatedly, there are passages that talk of God sustaining the universe, God sustaining the life of an individual or all humanity. Everything exists because God sustains it. He not only created it, He also keeps it together. And here is how God is omnipresent. Because God sustains everything, He does so personally, and because He sustains everything, He is present everywhere. Not in everything, but still present everywhere. And if you think about it, I am sitting here, I exist because it's the will of God. God could have me disappear right now and I wouldn't be. Now that doesn't mean that God is inside me. It means that God personally sustains me, and therefore no matter where I go, I can't get away from God. He's always with me. And the same with each individual. Now, Psalm 139 verse 7 reads, "Where shall I go from your spirit, or where shall I flee from your presence?" And people take this and they say, no, you see, God is omnipresent through the Holy Spirit. Now, this is a problem, because that means the Holy Spirit is omnipresent, not actually God. Right? It's not an essential quality of God. It's like I get in a car to drive somewhere because I'm not going to walk that. I can't. If it's 10,000 kilometers, I'm not planning on walking that. So I need an instrument. But if God needs an instrument, it means He is insufficient in Himself. He's not really God. Now, you might say to me, but can't God, through the Holy Spirit, sustain the universe? Now, you've got problems with that. Because, as I said before, number one, God is not omnipresent. God is situated somewhere and He uses an instrument, in this case, this divine energy that people confuse with the Holy Spirit, and now He's doing it that way. It creates distance between God and humanity. You see, when I explained it, God was personally sustaining me, and I could not get away from God personally. If God uses an intermediary, there's distance. And then it also means God is not personally present. And you can argue as you want with this. But if it's not God that's omnipresent, it is not God who is personally present. So for God to be omnipresent, it works when God is Himself present. You can't fit in the Holy Spirit as some kind of instrument. No, the Holy Spirit is a divine person, just like the Father, just like the Son. That's the only way biblical omnipresence will work. The moment you mess with that, you start falling into pantheism and panentheism.